What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you've probably seen that we've started off our 2024 college football simulations, and we're going to do an SEC spring tournament for you. We're going to have all the teams in the SEC do a simulation tournament, and yes, I have finished the rosters, at least the first round of updates for all the teams in the SEC. We've done about 30 teams so far. The Big Ten will be finished up here in probably less than 2 weeks. And so if you'd like to get these rosters, if you'd like to play the game, you can, of course, join us on Patreon. But as far as the videos go here on the channel, we're going to do a tournament here for the SEC. We're going to do the Big Ten, the ACC, and the Big 12 as well. At least that's the plan. And if you're wondering about the old school tournament, so we did a 12-team playoff on NCAA Football 2003. That's going to continue. We're going to do 2004. I'll probably have the bracket out for that sometime this week, and we're going to go through all of the older NCAA football games. And again, once we get through the 2024 simulations, we're going to do the entire season. I'm going to get that done right before the new game comes out, and then we're going to simulate the season again on the new EA Sports College Football 25 when it comes out. So lots of college football simulations here on the channel, and again, if you missed it, that's all we're going to do here on this channel now. That's what most of you seem to like. Those are the videos that perform the best. And so let's just get right into it and take a look at the bracket here. And I have seeded the teams based off of kind of what they're expected to do this year, now based off of my power rankings and just the national narrative around the SEC and what everyone's kind of expecting. So we're going to start with the number 1 versus 16 matchup. That'll be up tomorrow. And our first matchup is going to be Georgia and Vanderbilt. Georgia, the 1 seed, Vanderbilt, the 16 seed. Probably not going to be the most competitive game of this tournament, but who knows? We've seen crazy things happen on this game. We've seen upsets in tournaments in the past. And by the way, I would love to get predictions. And at some point, I would like to get back to doing maybe like a contest where you guys can make predictions and we can give away a prize and all that. I'm still kind of working on that. I actually had to completely redo my website, or haven't really done it yet, but we're in the process of kind of getting the website going again, and maybe we can collect some predictions there in the future. But so for now, how about just commenting? Just comment your predictions, how you think this tournament's going to go, maybe who you think is going to be in the Final Four and who's going to win the championship. Or you can predict every game if you'd like to do that. But yeah, I love to get predictions just to see how they turn out. But we've got that game first, and then the 8-9 matchup will be Oklahoma, Texas A&M. This should be a really good game here. I think this will be a very evenly matched game, and can't wait to see what happens in that one, the 8 versus the 9. And the higher seed will get home field advantage until you get to the championship. The championship will be in Atlanta at the SEC Championship Stadium. So 4 versus 13, we're going to have Ole Miss, the 4 seed. South Carolina is the 13 seed. Ole Miss has a lot of hype. You know, we've added all their new players, all their transfers. This roster is really good. They could be a team that maybe a dark horse to win this tournament. So Ole Miss versus South Carolina. And then the 5 versus 12 is Missouri versus Florida. Of course, Missouri coming off of a great season last year. Maybe they do it again. Maybe they're not quite as good this year, but they should at least be a top 25 team. Florida, a team with still some questions, but I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Florida were to pull an upset in that game. Probably going to be tough on the road, but we'll see. 2 versus 15, we've got Texas as the number 2 seed, Mississippi State as the 15 seed. That one, who knows? We'll see if it's competitive, but that one's going to favor Texas, obviously. 7 versus 10, Tennessee versus Kentucky. This should be a good game here. You get your first look at the new quarterback for Tennessee, and it's some, you know, if you've been watching the channel, we have started these simulations, so you've gotten an early look at Georgia. You've seen Florida. We did the Florida-Miami game. Again, Clemson versus Georgia. Just had Texas A&M versus Notre Dame. So you maybe have seen some of the teams, but not all of them. And this will be your first look at some of these teams in the SEC with the new rosters. 3 versus 14 will be Alabama as the 3 seed, Arkansas as the 14 seed. We'll see if the Razorbacks can compete in that game. Of course, the Nick Saban era now over at Alabama. That doesn't really translate to a video game, but we'll see what happens in that game. So 6 versus 11, LSU versus Auburn. This is actually a game you're not going to see in the regular season this year, which is just crazy with the new SEC. But you'll get to see it at least in round 1 of this tournament. So again, you know, the favorites are going to be Georgia. Going to be Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Ole Miss, probably those top 4 seeds. Maybe there's a team that could sneak into the Final Four, maybe even win the championship outside of those top 4. It is a video game. Anything can happen. But again, give me your predictions, your thoughts on this, and we will kick it off tomorrow with Georgia versus Vanderbilt.